Welcome to Beerfield. I still never fixed the camera from last week, so I guess I'll try to remember to do that before next week.
That's amazing.
Sorry about that. Guess this is an audio show. I am your host at Beerfield Hop, Chris Hopper, joined by Ryan Miner _FFB. Ryan Miner. You couldn't figure that one out. At Beerfield Theory. Daniel. James. Theory. I actually don't know what your mail is, but.
Ooh, no, we don't play that game. Hi.
Hi. How are ya? How are y'all?
We're good.
All right, cool.
But one day I decided to do my hair, and there's no camera.
Your hair always looks perfect, though.
Thanks.
It's kind of...
It only takes me like 30 seconds to do my hair.
Kind of infuriating, actually.
I'm just gonna yell that. I'm just gonna yell that constantly to have my hair cut. And I'm at this point, I'm just
by who?
Like, well, who do you think?
Oh, well, I mean, look, just because she got hers cut off doesn't mean you got to get yours cut off.
I know,
right?
I'm like, at this point, we're gonna see how much.
You want you to get highlights too? Like,
we're gonna see how much the cows will lick.
You want you to get highlights too?
I should frost my tips. Bring this back to the '90s, baby.
You should.
Oh, I had frosted.
We're all gonna do that. We're gonna be a 3-man boy band.
Ryan, I am not surprised at that. Is the least surprising news of the day, actually, that you had frosted tips.
Yeah, that might be
that's
the most on brand Ryan thing. I had frosted tips back then.
That might be the most unsurprising thing you've said.
Yeah,
I can tell you one that's even more unsurprising. How long do you think my hair ever was?
As long as it is right now.
No, it's actually been longer than this.
You
I actually had an undercut. It was like down to here on me.
Oh,
and it was an undercut all the way up to here.
I was thinking you did the spiky thing, like Wayne Static.
No, I could have done that, but I never did.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yes. He had hair like the guys from Hanson.
Oh
yeah. You guys know that we make beer with them.
With Hanson?
Yeah, so beer inspired by like we did. I guess we've done collaborations with them, and we made a beer called Hop.
How did I not know this? That's
I didn't know this until like last week.
That's amazing.
Like,
did you know that? Did you know that Chumbawamba is British anarchy punk? Like the people that do dub thumping.
Really?
That's amazing.
Yeah, like if you listen to any of their stuff, they're like total British anarchy punk.
All right,
but didn't have.
They just said they one crossover hit. It was like we're gonna make it.
That. Well, yeah, tub thumping is just apparently about their neighbor getting drunk off his ass, falling over, getting back up, and singing "Danny Boy."
So he's the problem. Weekend. So he's the reason why I've had this on saying at me for fucking years.
I got really high and started to look into Chumbawamba, and then started to read 90s.
That's what one would naturally do.
90s rock lyrics for inspirational quotes, and Creed has a lot of them, by the way. Like, if you've never read the lyrics to Higher, life-changing.
They're a Christian rock band. Of course they're going to have all
No, they're
not. Well, they were. I mean,
at that point, they're like...
My Own Prison, they definitely were. Like, that one is totally Christian. But when they got
their first 3 or 4 albums were all Christian rock.
Yeah, well, it started to go away when they got to... I think that was Weathered. Weathered didn't have
Weathered.
Higher,
They were still,
yeah.
No, because Higher is after second or third album. I don't remember which.
They were.
It's off the fifth one.
But I mean, it's not like every song had heavy Christian influence.
Oh, sure.
My Own Prison, it was every fucking song.
Which is a great song.
Yeah.
Higher is definitely Higher is pretty obvious that it's.
Well, especially at the
about heaven, obviously.
About the Thanksgiving game when they performed at Dallas Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that video, man. Just the guys floating around, or guys swinging around. It's good. Thanks, Creed.
Thanks, Creed. They actually have a T-shirt with that, by the way, on their website. I was looking to see when they were actually coming to St. Louis. They have a ticket or a T-shirt that is just got Stapp in the Cowboys jersey with the people in white flying by it. It's
just doing this,
yeah. They have a graphic tee of that. In case anyone's interested. All right, that's about enough of that. We're going to hit the latest on the news. We're going to go hit some Dynasty names from the draft classes before 2020. I just extrapolated some names going through I really, once you get back to like 2015, 2016, most of those classes are out of the league. So, but went back pretty much to the year before we started the show and extrapolated some names that, I feel are worth talking about. We'll just throw some things in there, just kind of cover what we didn't pick up for Dynasty recap the last couple weeks. And then hopefully most of the NFL awards will be announced by then, and we can get into the honors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Before we do that, though, drinking beer.
Did I miss anything good last week?
What?
Did I miss anything good last week? I download. I don't listen.
Oh, no. God, no.
I mean, you should know the answer to that already, right?
Right.
Come on.
I just wanted to.
How long have you been here? You know.
No.
No, it's not.
What's fueling Beerfield?
All right, Ryan, why don't you start?
All right. I am drinking Pigeon Hills Brewery Company. Donut Stop Believin'. It's just a Long John Ale, chocolatey, cream filled. Took the midnight train down to Flavortown.
Huh. What kind of beer
So
is
It's,
it?
it's not an IPA, is what I'm trying to say.
What
it
is
a
it?
porter or a stout?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the brewery?
Pigeon Hill.
What's the beer?
Donut Stop Believin'.
Donut Stop Believing.
It's cream ale.
This makes great radio.
It's a cream ale. I would have, yeah, that
Well,
makes sense.
You could have told us it wasn't a porter or a stout by looking at the damn thing. Hold it up.
Doesn't say anything on it.
Oh, you're not drinking out of a glass. Have we taught you nothing?
You've taught him nothing.
I am
There
drinking
you
out
go.
of the glass.
Okay, yeah, so it's not a porter or stout. It's cream ale. It's not black. That would have ruled out half the styles. I'm actually intrigued by that.
It's actually really good. Can't wait to talk about it.
Pigeon Hill.
A Long John donut inspired cream ale. Huh.
They have another one that's called Donut Fear the Fritter. So they're
Oh, did they put the... No, they didn't.
I'm on their website.
What's in it?
I'm not seeing the one that Brian Brian has.
I found it.
Dang, I've been called Brian many times. Don't worry.
I know it's weird.
I just Googled the beer name.
Oh yeah, I mean, I assumed you did. I just went to the website to see if it's on here. They have a bear claw cider,
Really?
cinnamon, pecans, and vanilla.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a donut inspired beer. Hold on, where's my phone? Need to make a note of that. So I can brew it.
It's actually like really good.
Well, my wife makes donuts for a living now, so I'm like, collaborate.
Let's collaborate. Let's collaborate, wife.
I have a running notepad doc of beer names,
That's one does.
but I can put style. I just figured out what my black. See,
There you go.
It was useful. Dan, what do you got? I'm intrigued by that.
I
beer,
am
Ryan.
intrigued. So I am.
I'm
Oh, he says he's intrigued by your beer.
Oh, thank you. I'd say I came back after taking a week off.
Yeah, you
Whole new
did.
man, refreshed.
You did.
Old new man. He's drinking a cream ale. This is icon for Illinois.
Illini.
Illini. Oh my god.
Good lord.
Good lord.
Even I know that.
I should know that. Anyways, icon for Illini. So it's a beer that's made from Grey Duck Brewing out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is kind of their collaboration or their partnership with the Fighting Ionized student athletes and fans.
What? How did it
to help kind of promote like NIL opportunities and stuff.
How did Michigan or a Minnesota
I
brewery
have no
end
clue.
up brewing a beer for the Illini?
I don't know.
Huh.
It's since made some shelf spots here in in Downstate, Illinois, as it probably should, being that that's where the university is. So I decided to pick it up and give it a whirl. It's an American lager too.
Nice.
I think it's like 4.5%. Yeah, 4.5%.
Nice.
So yeah.
All right. I'm going with the collab beer. So we've had a lot of Mill Pond on recently.
We have.
But I had to do it again because it's not often that I go get a flight of something and something just hits me to where I'm like, oh shit, this is special. When you drink enough beer, you know when you find it. And I found one. This is actually a collab between Mill Pond Brewing and Millstadt, Illinois, and Blue Jay Brewing, which is a new brewery in St. Louis, with a former Urban Chestnut brewer there. But this is the Tamabe. It's a Czech dark lager.
Ooh. Cat's like, I want to be on the show too.
Cat's trying to
Yeah,
walk on
look
my
at my
keyboard,
tail.
which does bad things for stuff.
Naturally.
Oh, okay. Tamabe means black, so or dark. Makes sense. So yeah, full review on that about halfway through the episode.
News.
All right, first up, Cliff Kingsbury pulled the old dipsy doodle. Ultimately opted not to take the Raiders job. Former Bears offensive coordinator Luke Getsy will be the Raiders offensive coordinator. Cliff Kingsbury ends up in Washington.
Replacing
Eric Bieniemy, who
Eric Bieniemy.
was
Eric
not
Bieniemy.
retained.
yes.
What?
And that's
not-
why he hasn't been signed anywhere else yet.
Bieniemy?
Yeah.
Not a lot of openings. If I had to guess, he may end up going back to KC like Nagy did.
That's my guess. He'll have to probably, because Nagy's OC, so he's gonna have to probably take a lesser position.
Yeah, that's what Nagy had to do when he left OC for Bieniemy to take the spot, and then came back
That's
into
true.
a lesser position under
Yeah.
Bieniemy. So, I mean, as the world turns, right?
There's no more. Then there's no opening OC jobs as far as I'm aware of.
Tennessee's still.
But I thought they brought somebody in. Nick Holtz.
Oh, they did. So there might.
He was
not
a
be.
passing game. He was a passing game coordinator for the Jaguars.
Joe Brady still has the interim tag for the Bills.
Dorsey went to the Browns.
The Chargers have an opening right now.
Well, that's right. 'Cause Harbaugh didn't.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's
oh,
yeah.
no.
So it's not a.
No, never mind. Greg Roman was officially given the OC title earlier today.
Yes.
Oh, he
For the
was.
Chargers. Yep.
What? Oh my God! They're gonna fucking kill Herbert. It's gonna be Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly.
Mhm.
They're probably gonna draft Braylon Edwards.
the
I'm sorry, Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen
Edwards.
and a JJ McCarthy.
Okay. So the Saints, the Niners are technically vacant, but you know how that goes. The
Yeah.
Seahawks, that's it. Saints and Seahawks have openings.
So maybe he goes, to Seattle as they kind of rebrand their whole team.
Could be.
They got their young defensive head coach now and McDonald, and we'll see.
We'll see. Be interesting to watch. As far as Cliff to Washington, we already know that we're watching Washington in the quarterback game. They've got some pieces on offense, very void on defense. So be interested to see what he gets to work with there. Jury's still out. We don't have the full picture on that. Getsy going to the Raiders. Oof.
Raiders
Yeah.
need a lot of help.
Uninspiring.
I don't care. I mean, it sucks because I like Pierce and I just want to affect him, but it might suck even more. They've announced the offensive rookie of the year, by the
Okay.
way.
Great. We'll get to it later.
We will.
Sorry, I want to get as much of that under so we can do it in one segment. I don't really.
No,
I don't,
I
I don't
I
wanna
gotcha.
scatter
I
it through
gotcha.
the show.
Nope. I gotcha.
Zay Flowers is under investigation for domestic violence, so suspension watch is starting early. We'll see. He hasn't been formally charged with anything yet. Details really haven't come out about the altercation. It involves the police department in Massachusetts and more to come. That's about all there's to say there. A little more clarity on the TJ Hawkinson situation. So he may not be ready to go until October. But the reason the surgery was delayed, which we speculated a lot about last week, is they wanted to give time for the MCL to heal before doing the ACL surgery.
Oh,
They didn't do both at the same time.
That makes sense.
So
all right, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So he may very well start the season on the pop. They're estimating a 9-month recovery. So
I wonder if they actually will be attacking free agency with the tight ends.
probably for depth. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. They
just drafted their draft. They just brought on Josh Oliver in a 3-year deal, and they do like Munt. So
actually,
What about like Noah Fan or someone like that?
Josh Oliver is pretty
I don't
decent. I mean,
I don't see them adding any. Like, if they do, it's going to be some late day 3 or like some guy that they'll eventually cut because they brought in Oliver in a 3-year deal last year that they really like. It's a run blocker, and Munt has been serviceable. I would prefer a better replacement, but I don't see them allocating any money. Yeah. I don't see them.
Oliver's hell of a blocker.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not going to allocate any money to that position of notes. I'd be very, very shocked if they did.
No, you're right, and they don't need it to catch passes or anything like that.
No.
With Addison and Jefferson. So really, they need to do something at running back. That's about the only skill position to figure out.
And there's plenty of those veterans this year.
There's a lot of them.
Yep. Let's see. Chargers have hired Greg Roman to be their new offensive coordinator. We just mentioned this. Roman known more for his running game and quarterback running game than anything, which isn't really Herbert's forte.
Justin Herbert confirmed top 5 rushing QB next year. I mean, maybe we'll see Greg Roman kind of maybe we'll see something evolve there. I mean, like, this is the first time I think in his career that he has I won't say in his career, but probably his career he has an insanely talented, high ceiling quarterback. So,
and Kellen Moore gets bounced again.
Yeah, isn't he going to Philly? He's in Philly.
Yeah,
which I actually also like.
So who did he have in Buffalo?
Was that Tyrod?
Tyrod, yeah.
I think it's right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And who was his running back? Was it Spiller and
Spiller Jackson?
Yeah, Spiller Jackson.
Yeah, I think Spiller. Yeah, that was in that weird time too.
It was McCoy.
Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say it was a post Eagles McCoy.
Yep. Is there anywhere else I don't remember him being? Years in Buffalo, 4 in San Francisco, which I think was all with Kaepernick, and then Baltimore all with Lamar. So yeah, you are right about that.
This is not a. This is going to be insanely high upside arm talent quarterback with average-ish mobility.
Yeah, be a new game for him, I guess.
And with Jim Harbaugh, who I think likes to also run the football a lot.
Yeah. He did offensive quality control in Carolina in 2000, which I think was Jake no.
2000?
Yeah, no. That wasn't
Delhomme, was it?
No, it wasn't. That was Steve Berline.
Oh, Mr. Berline, yes.
So I was thinking Delhomme as well. I think Delhomme was later in mid.
He was 03, 04. He was during their Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Against the Patriots.
Yep. Giants are hiring former Titans defensive coordinator Shane Bowen as their defensive coordinator. So, okay. I think that defense is more Braves than anything, but okay. Rex Burkhead is officially retired from the NFL after 10 seasons. We already talked about it.
Basically just means like no team wanted him after last season.
Yeah. That's exactly what it means. Ejiro Evero will stay in Carolina under new coach Dave Canales, so they'll keep their They're very, very good defensive coordinator. He's been sought after the last 2 coaching cycles. We already talked about Ben Johnson, others, and Bobby Slowick staying as OCs for their respective teams. In the what year is it category, the Patriots are in talks with Ben McAdoo for an offensive assistant position. Cowboys hired Mike Zimmer as their defensive coordinator, and Hugh Jackson interviewed for a role on the Raiders' offensive staff.
God, it's like teams are so afraid to branch out and fucking find someone that's up and coming instead of, oh, we're gonna hire this guy you used to coach. Well, it used to be a thing 5 years ago, and we'll see if that translates to a game that has evolved during their time and post.
The has-beens.
For the Patriots,
it's so fucking dumb.
The Patriots are so young on their coaching staff. I think McAdoo makes a bit of sense there. There's also the whole
maybe
thing
in like
where,
a consulting role.
Yeah.
If he wants to consult with them, sure, but
Yeah.
like it's fine if they're young, right? It's yeah.
I mean, they brought him in as an offensive assistant, so maybe it is a consultant role.
Maybe it is
just
a
to be a
consultant
voice
role.
in the room. He wasn't
Yeah.
actually interviewing for a coordinator, and neither was Hugh. So maybe it is more consultant, just to have another veteran presence around. Ryan Jensen retired from the NFL after 10 seasons. That one is injury related. Was never able to recover after hurting himself a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Part of the Bucs offensive line taking a major downturn in about one off season. All right. I can't say it's our last ever Dynasty look back because, well, we're going to do a couple more throughout the offseason. But, all right, I got some names I'm going to throw out. If you guys can think of anybody else, we'll go by position. Then we can talk about them. So we're going to start with quarterback. Let's talk Tua. Let's talk 1, do you believe he's hit his ceiling? 2, he's got a contract situation coming up. What's that look like?
Ooh, that is a good one.
I think he stays if Miami has continued success. You know, they made the playoffs. They've held that division title for majority of the season. You know, late collapse, injuries alike kind of helped, derail that situation. But I think he's going to be the ride or die with McDaniels, and it goes with him. If I think he's there, and if they give him a new contract, it'll probably be a 4-year deal. Like, we'll see. Like, he won't be paid in the same vein as the top tier QB, but he'll probably get top 10 money. At like the sign of his contract. Yeah, like it's gonna be at the sign of his contract. So maybe even top 7, right? Because we're gonna have contracts that are gonna look a little wonky because we're not gonna have anybody for the 21 class that's gonna probably get a massive extension. I like Purdy's the next one in line, maybe. And we don't really know what his is gonna look like either.
How Sunday goes.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get one, but is he gonna be how much? Like, is he gonna get more than Burrow?
Is he gonna get one, or
Jackson Hurts?
Or could there be like a potential signing of Kirk Cousins going to San Francisco?
No.
You think Tua ends up more in Hurts territory, Murray territory? I'm looking at just comparables. I think him and Hurts have kind of been tied at the hip their entire careers, and even now you've got some of the same questions, but I could see it going more towards. There's about a 5-year difference in their AAV between those, or $5 million difference in that AAV between Hurts and Murray.
Like,
you think it's less than that, and more?
I think it'll because
for DJ.
Because it's gonna be at least 1 year removed from that contract, and as we know, those contracts will steadily increase. So it might be a deal where we're like, oh fuck, like he's paid as a top 3 quarterback. His contract will probably be a little bit more than those guys.
Sure.
Well, and maybe the contract length won't be as long.
Yeah.
And
that's
might be like a Dak situation when you re-sign with Dallas.
Yeah, and that's why I was looking AAV instead of total value too.
Yep.
Right. So
yep.
I mean, you're looking $46 million a year on Murray. It's $43 million a year on Allen, $40 million a year for Jones, Stafford, Dak, all in that $40 million a year range.
Yeah.
I think Hurts is a bit lower than that, so probably going to be in that range for Tua if I had to guess, and you're probably looking in the same. It seems like 4 to 5 years is going right on an NFL caliber starting quarterback, and I think he's definitely that. So,
Oh, absolutely.
as far as have we seen the ceiling, I think close. I don't know.
Like his ceiling
would
as in
agree.
like total passing yards, or like his ceiling as his overall
just
play.
overall play total package.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I think
I would agree.
I think over the last 2 seasons we probably have. I mean, you've got completion percentage this year at 69.3, close to 70, threw for 4,600 yards. His touchdown rate the last 2 years has been north of 5, which is really, really good. Interception rate's been 2.5, which is going to be some of that when you're airing it out, which is what the offense wants to do. Quarterback rate's been up over 100. Sack rates have been low. I mean, I think we're seeing Tua settle into what Tua is, which
Game manager plus.
yeah. He's a perfectionist. He's afraid to take the risk. He's not like a Jordan Love, like where Jordan Love's not afraid to take the risk, and that turnover risk is there with him. Where Tua doesn't tend to turn the ball over because he just wants to have the perfect throw.
So he's a younger and probably still more talented Alex Smith. He's risk averse.
I mean,
Yeah.
As Ryan mentioned, I can see that.
at a 2+%.
He also has a pretty live arm, but like he's
also 32nd and also 6th in danger plays and 10th in interceptable passes. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
he's probably some combination like, Cousins. I won't say Cousins because obviously he's more mobile than Cousins, but you get
4th in air yards per attempt too, by the way.
which could be more offense than, more so him. Also having Tyreek and Waddle is a huge help in that department. Like he doesn't have the most talented arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but I think we've seen his output in an offense that's built the way that Miami's is built. I think we've seen what he can be, which is very good, which is a high in QB2, low in QB1 most weeks, especially if Hill's healthy. We'll see what that life looks like as Hill ages and, with them moving on.
Yeah,
eventually.
I think you are looking at a back half QB1 most of the time. Week in, week out, you could have some QB2 weeks, but I think for the next several years, you're looking at a back end QB1 that is going to have some significant week to week upside as long as they want to air that ball out. And I don't think you're not obviously not by. You're obviously not
fucking
by
cat, man.
low. You're not in a sell window. Can't see that on YouTube, but I'm fighting a cat that wants to keep climbing right in front of me.
He just wants to be with you,
which is fine, but do it over here.
I know. I get
You've seen this desk. It's the size of. It's literally
It's
the size
huge.
of a door.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be right on top of me to be with me. But yeah.
Here he's back for again.
He is. It's the bell.
Give him his own mic.
Yeah.
Meow.
He won't.
It's a great point, actually. Yeah.
He won't shut up. But yeah, you're at the top of the bell curve with Tua, and you can ride that for a few years.
We're like in peak Dalton, peak. Oh my God. Maybe what Baker should have been.
Yeah.
Maybe
or he is now.
Maybe not, like slightly less peak, a little bit less peak Drew Brees with more mobility. Same size, at least. They're both small.
Yeah.
And offenses that are very much, run and go. Not run and go, but very aggressive.
Yeah.
Lots of scoring potential.
All right. Next quarterback on my list is Jordan Love because we got to talk about it. And so
tough.
This is tough, right? Because you got 1 year and you got to figure out what the contract's going to be. And you got to figure out how that offense is going to develop around. And, what do you make of it? You got a flash in the pan. League's going to adjust. I mean, he got better as the season went on, not worse, which makes me think you got something real. 5.5% touchdown rate, just 1.9 interception rate. over 4,000 yards. Really, really good season across the board. With a bunch of rookie wide receivers, Christian Watson being hurt. Like, what do you make of this?
I thought it was supposed to be a rebuilding season for Green Bay. I thought it was going to be a down year for him because of everyone being gone and basically it's just Aaron Jones and an injured Christian Watson and nothing else. And then you see Jordan Love, who a quarterback I was never high on ever because the way he played.
Dude, nobody
You're
was.
not alone.
Not a fucking soul was. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Besides maybe his own friends and family. Fuck, his own coach had doubts in in August.
That's why, yeah, they only give him
it's not
one year
like
contract.
yeah, like I can see them also franchise taking him if they can't get a deal done, which would not surprise me. And they want to, get more context. He starts out, decent. He has that pretty bad stretch in the middle, and as Hopper mentioned, had that nice, finish, had a great postseason.
Let me see what
Like
the
he's
cap
got
is.
like arm talent was never a problem with him. It was everything upstairs, as we talked about last week. It was everything that was kind of upstairs with, in his decision making, and he's in an offense with LaFleur that has done a remarkable job in putting him in, positions to not make bad plays.
Yeah.
I think if the offensive line struggles, like you look at his, completion percentage against the pressure, which, it's something that he'll definitely work on. So he definitely has his weaknesses, but significantly better than what any of us thought. And
IQB2
I'm not calling him Hall of Famer, but yeah. What's that?
IQB2 with low one upside, especially as the offense develops around him.
I think he's better than like Tua fantasy wise.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I think same tier.
Close.
Tua has the offensive weapons that everyone covets.
Numbers are close. A little bit of an edge to Love there this year, but numbers are really close.
So Green Bay has $2.8757 million in cap space this year, but I'm looking at their 2025, they have 94, and then 2026, 153. So they could sign them and start kicking some contracts out, especially David Bakhtiari.
Yeah.
Who seems to never play anyways. He has a huge cap hit.
The salary cap's the myth, Ryan.
I know
if they want Love, they're going to make it work.
No, I get
Saints
that.
and the Vikings of the past have made us very well aware that the salary cap does not exist. It's just a made up number for us to argue about and who's below or above it.
This is very true.
But no, he is. Yeah, I would say he's probably for Dynasty. He's probably as a low QB1, but I think on a week to week basis for next year. I mean, he's in that streamer category. He doesn't give you the high end rushing upside and potential that you would want with his volume potential potentially, but
well, let's look
see him
at
blow up next year. Who knows?
Dynasty perspective now. Like, you're a QB needy team. You have a back end first round pick. You're not gonna get any of the top three with what you have. Someone that offers you Jordan Love for the 110. Do you take it?
Yeah.
19.
I
like how high, if you're offering trying to get that quarterback, how high would you be willing to go? I'd go as high as probably maybe 107.
That's what I was thinking, was like 16, 17 probably.
I mean, without knowing how a lot of these players are going to line up and trying to correlate it with draft picks at this moment, I can't say, but I think a mid to low, first round pick is a good starting point. If I have them, I don't know if I'm selling them for that. Like if I can get into a pick range that's going to give me a Daniels at least, who has, significant rushing upside for fantasy.
So you're looking at 1-3.
Would you really want like I guess the question is Drake May going to be what we think, like is he going to be Jordan Love? Like he doesn't have, like he's got decent mobility upside from what I've seen, but like it's not just what we're talking about for like if we're looking at just fantasy, aren't we looking at guys that are going to have that potential right away? Jordan Love's hit that already.
Yeah, and Drake May could be Mitch Trubisky again.
Fuck, we could be talking about JJ McCarthy in this spot next year. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And it's that's kind of where I'm at with him. I would be more aggressive just with the youth, and I hate talking about a QB, from Green Bay in a positive light, but I would be aggressive with them. I would have no issue with that because they have the league's youngest wide receiver roster that should only get better. And Love's only going to get more comfortable. Yeah, you could bust, but I mean, at this point, like you're almost in the same spot as when we were year 2 of Josh Allen. He doesn't have Allen's rushing numbers, but he has the arm talent, which is why he got drafted in the first round in the first place. I'll take that risk. At least he'll be low in QB1.
Yeah. All right, Jalen Hurts. He's already been extended, obviously, but we saw some of the struggles, especially Eagles down the stretch. So, it's going to call a lot of the goodwill that he had garnered kind of back into question. Touchdown rate was down, interception rate was way up. Yardage stayed about the same, rating way down. It seemed to me, and this may have been the offense, that the Eagles, for whatever reason, had completely just abandoned anything involving the middle of the field or semi-safe plays or mid-range targets or the run game. Like, there are a lot of aspects of that offense missing. It seemed like there was a lot of hero ball going on, and it didn't benefit Hurts. Do you attribute that to him or the offense? And, are you worried that you've got one good year in here sandwiched between two kind of mediocre?
I mean, if you're looking at their tail end of the year, I mean, he posted in week 13 against San Fran. He was a top 10 quarterback that week. Weeks 15 and 16, he was a top 5 QB that week. And in week 17, which he was top 10 still, but he scored 28. Like, if the offense, as bad as it was and as poor as it was in terms of its play calling, what you see all around from Eagles fans bitching about it, Hurts for fantasy outside of that Dallas game, which sucks.
That rushing
like
upside.
His upside. It's his upside, and that's
that rushing,
where it is.
That rushing floor.
Like,
yeah,
we've seen what his highs can be, and if he's playing and the offense sucks and he's giving you 20 plus points as a floor with maybe one outlier there, I'll buy whatever dip that would actually that would entail. He's a bigger body quarterback. So
curious if there's going to be a dip, because if there is, I think that it is a buy because of the rushing floor.
Yeah,
it is a buy because we did hit that dip. If you look at his dip in the passing game, he actually did better in yardage wise. He basically threw for another 150. What killed him this season was the 15 turnovers or the 15 interceptions that he had. That's what killed him, because last season he only had 6. Year before that was 9. So,
everything else was about the same.
Yeah.
Maybe just had a bad year of turnovers.
Yeah. And then he had a fumbleitis. I mean, that was it. The turnovers overall. It was interceptions and fumbles is what killed him.
I guess we clearly can attribute to what Kellen Moore did with Dak in 1 year with Herbert, but we can always go back and look to see what they're, especially Dak, which they're very similar quarterbacks, especially pre-ACL there. Dak, we can kind of see how long Kellen was there for and get an idea of what his offense could do with a similar style quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he had 15 rushing touchdowns. And so they're talking about banning a tush push. So what's that drop him down,
he's still 240. Like, he's still 10? A big fucking quarterback, dude. Like, he's gonna score a touch. Yeah, he is still scoring.
He's still gonna be double digit. He's still gonna be double digit guy, in my mind.
No, he will be.
And you can say positive regression, I guess, from the turnover department, which is a very not sticky stat. The offense should, I guess, in theory, should be better than what Brian Johnson gave us, towards the back half of this past season. So, I would buy on whatever dip that may come from this, especially towards your rookie draft, as rookie fever truly hits. You have 3 very popular names. Yeah. And Hurts should go above them all. And there should be no question to that, in my opinion.
All right. Moving maybe a little quicker here. Daniel Jones.
Who?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel fucking Jones.
So you get some goodwill, and maybe you finally figured it out from 2022, and then you have it bad and then injury riddled this year amongst a team that can't seem to get it right from a personnel perspective through 2 regimes now. You just out. You done. Is there a bounce back
Solo.
in store for him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Dan on this one. Solo, because in what did he play? 6 games, 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
That's all he threw.
6 games,
I mean,
2 touchdowns, 6 picks.
come on. I can do worse than that even in Madden.
I can do worse than that in a lot of ways.
But it's like, like you could be like, all right, this is easy. I can just throw picks. But like he just like regressed heavily. It looked like I was like actually like one of those. I was actually excited to draft him later in drafts based on what he did the season prior. But like last season, he just fell apart.
I was too until it didn't work out.
And we still don't know who Brian, Dable is as a coach, especially on the offensive side, because isn't that supposed to be his specialty?
Yeah, it is.
Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah.
And we get, I think, an overblown, first year with them in 2022, and then it truly, came down to earth, and obviously Jones gets hurt, and the Giants kind of show some life every now and then, but Jones, no, just get out of it.
Yeah.
For whatever you can. So
He's
for
a $40 million backup.
Yeah, like he'll be cut. Giants will be trading out for a quarterback at some point, and Dable's gone.
Pro Football Reference calls him Danny Dimes or Vanilla Vic.
Yeah.
God, Vanilla Vic, such an insult to Vic.
I know, right? Like,
He's
I remember Vic throwing that many interceptions.
a wannabe Minshew.
Speaking of the jockstrap king, Gardner Minshew II is the next person on this list.
I truly hope he gets
A
the
shot.
Baker treatment and gets another shot somewhere.
Yes.
He's a Pro Bowler.
I know. That doesn't
And he
mean
looked
much
good.
anyway. Who was the guy last year for Ravens that made it? Their backup QB.
Tyler Huntley.
Oh,
Yeah, Tyler Huntley
yeah.
made the Pro Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I love Minshew, but
I
I
mean,
don't think the Pro Bowl is worth as much anymore
it's
as
a
it used to be.
QB2 that you hold on your roster in deep leagues because he's one of the better backups in the league, and he's probably going to end up being a bridge starter somewhere as his career keeps going.
Do the Colts retain him? Is he on the contract
They'd
still?
have to re-sign him. He's not under contract for next year. He's a free
yeah, they
agent.
signed a 1 year.
He's a free
Fuck,
agent.
maybe he can go to like the Raiders.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You're not going to have enough quarterbacks necessarily to go around in the draft. So the teams that need a quarterback or that need to find a solution there. So maybe
I can see him going for
there's
another
a shot.
backup job.
I can see the
I can
Colts.
see
Yeah, I
that
can see.
backup.
I could see Vegas. That's not a bad call. I like that one.
I could see Vegas. I could see the Colts retaining him if they're worried at all about Anthony Richardson's ability to stay healthy.
I think the Colts should.
Yeah, they should.
Familiarity with the offense and little insurance over A-Rich if he has, as you mentioned, if he struggles, to return, or if it takes him a little longer than expected.
Or send him up to Minnesota even.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
You can't be worse than what the fuck we had after Cousins got hurt. So
Right.
I fuck like we are a pro Minshew show here.
A lot of things.
Yeah,
that-
I want him to get another shot. I want him to get at least another shot.
and he will, and that's why I think he's a situational hold, at least until you figure out where he goes and what the situation's going to be.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, Bucks inside shot at re-signing him. Probably will re-sign. I think the only question is money and years.
3-year Jones level. Probably not Jones
I
level.
see like more like a Geno Smith level.
There you go. That's
Like
a
a
good
little
one.
bit-
And
a
Geno
little bit
Smith
north of
took a
it.
pretty team-friendly deal. That was a
Yeah.
big conversation, that his deal, it was more of a like respect thing to Seattle because they gave him a shot again. I could see that. If I'm Baker, yeah.
Baker's right there with
I would.
want
Jordan Love and Tua productivity-wise. So
they just lost, and the Bucks lost half of their offensive staff. So hopefully the dip isn't too bad afterwards.
the thing with this year, though, is that, like, and this is the thing that really sucks. Just if you go look at Baker's stat lines, he had one bad year in Cleveland, and everything else is fine, and even his percentages and stuff this year are not out of line with where he's been for his career. Like, this is a starting quarterback that just didn't have a home.
Best comparable, Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Little different route to Brees' end of career. Obviously, Brees went from the Chargers to the Saints and nothing else in between or after. But
If Baker's got a home now,
maybe we're seeing the resurgence. Like you get a coaching staff that believes in him, and then you know, as guys leave, you keep finding people that want to build through him. Maybe the Bucks, who are not going to get a true shot at one of these top quarterbacks. Maybe if one dips like a McCarthy, but
I think they keep him. And
I do too.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
3 years in that 38 to probably 37.
Yeah.
Like average range, I think it's fine. Maybe front loaded with some outs and probably some incentive bonuses.
That'll be very heavy
to tie
incentives.
Yeah.
To it, but yeah. He's deserved it. He's earned another shot too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Keep him and hold him.
He's won more playoff games than the Cleveland Browns. So
Yep.
good as
Well, and plus
fuck
you're
you
looking
to
to
them.
resign Mike Evans too, so you kind of need that chemistry being brought
Sure.
back to help him out.
All right. Mason Rudolph.
Who?
Pittsburgh really wants to retain the
they-
quarterback room there, it sounds like.
Wait,
They want to retain
who's the offensive coordinator that just signed there?
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith.
Ah, and who does Arthur Smith like as his quarterback?
It's gonna be Rudolph's gonna start week 1.
No, I think Ryan's trying to
Ryan
put
Tannehill?
Tannehill into Pittsburgh.
Oh, I get you. I'm there now.
It's just another piece of slop there. I think with Rudolph, he played well enough the back half of the year where he should have the inside track on being able to prove it in training camp, and that's why I put him here. I think you keep an eye on that, but if you go into training camp with an open camp battle, then you've got a prospective flyer right there in Mason Rudolph.
And Mr. Trubisky's still there too, right? I think he still has one more year.
Yeah.
It's the same 3 from last year, which sounds like it's what they want to do.
Rudolph looked the best out of the 3.
Oh, that's so bad.
They all 3 got to start, and he was the best of them. All right, nothing else on that. Got it.
Got it.
All right,
Done.
Let's go to running backs. Kind of keep this quicker. Let's just say, buy, sell, hold. Quick blurb on why. DeAndre Swift.
All the above: buy, sell, and hold. I mean, you buy with
Dude,
right?
I'm so nervous by it. I'm probably a void. He's probably going to go for more than you want to pay, and you probably won't get enough with what you want.
Yeah,
it's like a discounted Javonte Williams almost.
I say
from last year.
Sell the productivity. You barely had. He wasn't. He was actually healthy. Barely went over 1,000 yards. You've got Hurts stealing all the goal line touchdowns. There's a weird amount of times they end up at the 1, and it's just never going to be him. There were games where they just didn't commit to the run at all. Somewhat involved in the passing game, but not nearly at the levels he was in Detroit. Overall package is fine, but there's no reason to hold on to him unless you're competing and he's your RB2, essentially.
I actually kind of hope he actually resigns because it was actually a career year for him for attempts for 229, which beat his 2021 record of 151. But once again, he was stuck on that 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He just can't escape goal line players stealing all of his
No.
touchdowns. If it wasn't him, too, it was fucking Gainwell, who was
Oh my god, it was
like
Gainwell.
5'10" pounds smaller. Yeah. He's an avoid for me. I don't want to deal with the headache of not knowing.
You also had his last 100 scrimmage yard game was November 20th. So he went the last month plus of the season without cracking 100 scrimmage yards, which was difficult.
Yeah. The whole Philly offense was brutal to watch.
One touchdown in that time span. Just one receiving touchdown. That's kind of the knock, right?
Yeah, he didn't get any receiving work, which is supposed to be its calling card.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
think you move
49
off of that
targets.
when you can. All right, next two kind of are going to be tied at the hip. J.K. Dobbins.
We're doing Dobbins and Akers.
Yeah.
Both are probably, especially Akers, is probably done, at least in terms of fantasy upside. Dobbins will probably get fucked by the fact that he's missed 2 years effectively dealing with lower body injuries that have zapped him of everything.
And then last season, he actually was trying to hold out for a new contract.
Yeah,
This is why.
Kind of bit him in the ass.
And he didn't get,
Didn't bite him in the ass.
He's a free agent.
What happened? Yeah, he is. But
yeah,
I mean, what happens? Why he was holding out? That's why running backs hold out, because then this shit happens, and
Ask me this question when he gets signs on to a new team.
Okay.
Like, I honestly I can't answer. Like, it's going to be really tough to know.
Okay.
Because if he signs the team as a pure backup, it might be done for him too.
Miles Sanders.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Toasted.
On that toast. Josh Jacobs signed a 1-year deal. He's a free agent.
So he actually regressed this season, but I still see him going somewhere.
He's going to be a committee back that gives us headaches because he's going to still touch us from the guy that we want him to score points.
And I think he was always going to season.
He had
it was
an
harder
outlier season. Yeah,
it was harder than I expected it to, but that offense was terrible and the culture was terrible, and it was terrible.
The worst of Charles Barkley. Terrible.
He regressed, but his worst season of his career. But I think more so the 3 years you had before 2022 were probably more indicative you can expect.
Yeah. I'm done with I don't care.
Okay.
Sorry.
Damian Harris.
Toast.
Done.
David Montgomery.
So valuable.
As long as he's in Detroit, it's still valuable.
Yep, absolutely buy.
He's going to be cheap no matter what. So, yeah.
He's a buy and a hold.
Especially with the running back class, you're not going to see a whole lot of.
I hate this running back class, to be honest with you guys.
I think turnover, it might be like 2019, or it might be a while before one of these guys hits, and Montgomery probably survives and this spot. I like Ryan's call. Bye.
Saquon Barkley.
Please leave the Giants.
Please.
I think he does leave the Giants. He already said they're not going to franchise tag him, so it's like, thank God.
He's going to go to Baltimore. He's going to Baltimore.
Go to
Houston.
Go to Tampa Bay.
Go to Minnesota.
Or that.
Go to the Chargers.
Don't go to Tampa Bay. We got Rashad White there.
What about the Texans?
Go to Tampa
Texans.
Hear him out.
That's fine. You can ruin You can ruin Devin Singletary. I'm good with that.
Singletary only signed like a 1 or 2 year deal.
Exactly.
I think it's easy
Damian
money
Pierce
gone.
sucks. Go to Houston. I'm good. I like that.
Go to Los Angeles, Saquon. He's on their wish list apparently.
Wait, which one? Rams or the Chargers?
Chargers.
Go to the Rams, so we don't have to worry about Kyron Williams anymore.
Jim Harbaugh coached against someone. They were going up against Penn State all the time, so why not sign him? If you can't beat them, take them.
They apparently want to.
Oh, I would. I would love that. I would love that if they signed him.
Spot. So it's a buy, and if you can, buy before the landing spot.
Yes.
You want to try to buy now.
You want to try to buy now before the landing.
You want to do it before any free agent news starts to surface.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do because most managers don't want to sell.
Try
for that. Yeah.
If you can, this would be a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Nick Chubb.
Unfortunately, hold.
Yeah, you got to hold it to see how he comes back.
Yeah, it's not as bad as what we thought it was supposed to be, or what was reported early on.
It could be fine, but you don't want to sell low right now.
Nope.
Joe Mixon.
Sell.
Still, if you can.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's not going back to Cincinnati, and this is when you look at draft classes and everything, like he might be on the Fournette trajectory. You might get another year or so somewhere else as a veteran back, but you're
probably needs to go to it. Yeah, like he probably needs to leave, join a team that's, with a check down heavy quarterback.
Yeah,
he's the same class as Fournette.
Yeah. What a year.
Alvin Kamara.
Is he still buy low?
2017 back,
Uh.
694 rush yards, 5 touchdowns,
It's gonna be
1,100
cheap.
scrimmage yards. Is basically was right where Josh Jacobs was.
Sell for the name. I'm selling on the name base.
I'd
I
sell
don't
him.
even know what you can sell him. Like he had such a
He had 86
hurt.
86 targets, 75 receptions, and a touchdown. He was hurt. You could argue that if he played more games, he might be where he was at the previous 2 years, but you're still not back up to Drew Brees territory. He's 28. Will be playing at 29 next season.
with no competition because
You might be able to
I don't
hold
think we're
for
gonna-
another year, but this is the prospective sell right here. My opinion.
that's fair. I still like the buy cheap. Again, I like this is a year for me, as Ryan kind of alluded to with the running back class being bad. This is kind of the year expected running back class to be pretty poor. This might be the year to buy low cheap vets that are probably going to start.
Yep. All right. Turnover in Washington. Dan Quinn's in. We've seen backs thrive before. Cliff's in. Antonio Gibson.
Is he going to be on that team? He might leave.
He might.
I think he's gone. He's gone.
You think he's gone?
Like, I think he's a sell. I mean, we all love him, but I'm selling him.
Yeah.
Just on name base.
You might
Just
have to
because
wait. You might want to
Yeah.
wait until he signs with the new team.
Might be a buy.
I-
when
I-
he
I don't
signs
know
still
if his
sell
value. Yeah.
I'd still sell him right now.
Okay.
Might be a buy. It might. I'm with Dan on this one. I would wait till he signs with the new team and then make your decision on that based on the situation. Because I mean, when Rivera came in, the value went down. Before that, he had multiple 1,000 scrimmage yard seasons. Pretty involved in the pass game as he should have been. That 2023 year was incredibly good. So, there's something there. But he's still only 25 years old. So, I mean, he's got another contract in him if a team wants to commit to the talent, the skill set. And so, it's someone definitely to watch, I think.
All right, so here's like keep trade cut some kind of players around him. So he's worth 2162 and a 2024 early third is worth 2223. So Gibson's for a 2024 third. Would you do that?
Yes.
Trade for him?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
I'd be fine. I'd be fine with the
that's,
dart throw.
that's actually easy for me. You got more?
They have him they have him comparable with Damian Pierce. They actually have Damian Pierce valued higher than
I
him.
would take Gibson over Pierce.
And then J.K. Dobbins is even below him. Below Gibson. So Dobbins is below Gibson and Pierce is above.
I'd take him over both.
In adjacent values. But other running backs are above him are like Chuba Hubbard. There's another one that's above him.
You can probably get him super cheap now. And if you want to sell him, you might be able to sell him off of his own landing spot. Like if he leaves Washington and goes to to another ambiguous backfield.
What I'm hearing is buy
Like-
low. That's what I'm hearing.
What if he goes to
Oh yeah,
Minnesota?
he's definitely buy low. He's RB 45.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
a buy low.
He's not a sell because he's not fucking worth much at this point. So he's either just an avoid player or try to buy.
I believe that going anywhere that he has a chance to carve out a role is going to give him value.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just 25 years old, multiple thousand scrimmage yard season, proven in the receiving game. I believe wherever he lands, he's going to have at least flex value.
And see, like this time last year, he was RB 32, and we were all falling back in love with him. And you guys are still falling in love with him, and I'm ready to get rid of him.
Because
I'd be willing to take
RB32 is
whatever
also
I can
cheap.
get.
What it sounds like, Ryan, is that we fall in love with running backs
You like value.
that have some upside value because of their profile that doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, but like, what do they do on your bench? They don't do shit for you on your
Who
bench.
else?
What
What are
does
you gonna
that?
So
play
are
though?
every
what
other
is
player
that-
there. And then
what
we
does
turn
the
him
third
bird.
round running back I draft do on my bench, right? At least I got a guy that's got a little bit of a track record and isn't a black box.
What happened to when I drafted Nick Chubb in the first round, Ryan?
Yeah. What happened to
Ouch.
the Bears taking Kevin White at the 1-7? What if we'd been playing Dynasty then? Yeah, I had to relive
What if I
that.
took Damian Pierce 2 rounds before him?
Right.
Remember those days? Damian Pierce was, I think, a
Remember
round or two
Damian
above
Pierce
Gibson.
survived the draft and was supposed to be good?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Beer
I think I'm
review.
so close to being empty too. That's good.
Well, I hit it because I'm almost empty, so.
Yeah, so you read my mind. So
All right, Dan, go ahead and kick us off.
again, I'm drinking Icon. This is a beer for Illini. Um, again, Grey Duck Brewing out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, doesn't make a whole lot of sense as to why Minnesota breweries making a beer for school in Illinois. But American lager, well, lightly toasted, light body, dry finish, very clean. This is a very drinkable lager. I don't see any issues with it. If you like the style and you're looking to try something a little different than what you normally drink, then this one's not too bad. It's hard to really dive into the nitty gritty of lagers unless we're a truly, beer centric show.
All right. I was drinking Calave. This is a Czech dark lager, and so it's not on the can, but if you go to the brewery, which if you're ever in Millstadt for any reason, I recommend you do. Dan's the only person I ever know that's been to Millstadt for for just randomly any reason, but
For work reasons, yeah.
yeah. They did a double decoction mash on this, and it shows. The malt richness on this is incredible, and I think that's what sets it apart from any other Czech dark that I've really had. There's a great amount of dark chocolate there. There's just a little bit of like really, really subtle malt sweetness. It borders on being roasty without being roasty. So more like toasty than anything. It doesn't have any bitterness, like coffee bitterness. It just is like chocolatey and lightly sweet and crisp and just incredibly drinkable and good. Semi-drying on the back end. Incredible beer.
I'll have to look
And
for it when I'm down there.
Good. They should still have it. Had their microphone
Nice.
collab while I was there too. It was a hazy.
And I had Pigeon Hills. And I had Pigeon Hills Donut Stop Believing. And dude, it's just like open up a box of donuts. You open it up, it smells just like that. The aroma of donuts coming off. The taste is fantastic. Something that I usually don't have, which is like a dessert beer. And this is more like a vanilla hit with a chocolate like backflow. It's almost like a Boston cream donut. Boston cream filled donut. Very
It
good.
sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
super rich and sweet, and would probably want one and done.
No, it's actually not like super sweet. It's actually like mild sweet. Like I've already had two, and I'm not like a person that's really into sweets either. And it's a nice mellow type of sweetness to it.
It's good that it's a cream ale base because, again, cream ales tend to want a very lean and a vanilla taste on their own. Obviously, it's a very popular base beer to use for anything sweets too. It's as Hopper knows, this is the area of cream ales. So, and we have
very good.
a brewery that's
known for them.
Not-
yeah.
not because they want to, but are known for them.
Right, because
Sorry, Mike.
they're good. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike. My fault.
Oh well.
Not too many of them.
All right. Back to the wide receiver round. Back to Dynasty wide receivers. Mike Williams. Let's start there.
What can you get for him?
Nothing, which is why you should have sold him 4 years ago when I said to sell him or just not draft him. He's literally here so I can victory lap again.
Yeah.
You
He's
can't.
ranked
Here's the thing.
wide
Okay.
receiver 57.
I sold them 3 years ago. I don't have them in
Here's
my
the thing.
Dynasty
You
teams.
can't. I saw a tweet earlier today from somebody some Twitter analyst that I don't know of. That was like, "Great news! He's ahead of schedule in his ACL recovery." I'm like, really? Are we still caring? Do we still care about Mike Williams for the 2 good games a year he gives you before he disappears or gets hurt? Because I don't think we are. I think that he is on the way out. If you can sell low, you sell low, and I mean, especially with the emergence of Josh Palmer, while he missed last year, he's totally expendable.
I think everyone in that receiving core, besides Keenan Allen and probably still Quentin Johnston, is expendable. They're gonna go right back to the well this year. They're in a very, 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 very good spot to take one of these top receivers, and none of these guys are gonna be worth a fucking damn. Like,
outside of Keenan
sell
Allen.
them all, and probably even Keenan, because
He is getting up
Well,
there.
he's already
old.
he's already up there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
and
already
I
up
love
there.
Keenan, and I don't want to sell him, but
No,
yeah,
it's one of the things the Chargers definitely need to do to hit on Herbert is they need to flip over the wide receiver room and get him somebody that is gonna like be there with him for the next 5 years. Because Keenan Allen's his skill set plays for a while, but how long is he gonna play, right? And
you don't want to rely on Keenan Allen.
yeah,
you want him
nothing's
to
merged
be
out there.
a
You
nice
want him
third
to be
option.
a nice third option at this stage in his career. So they got to get something. It ain't Mike Williams.
It's I love it.
All right, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. Don't care.
I wanted
I
Jeudy,
care,
but
I care.
Player at Denver.
And everything. Like,
yeah, at Denver, it's like you don't know what Denver's gonna do.
Well, I mean, at Denver too, because he's spent his whole career with Drew Lock and the corpse of Russell Wilson.
hey. He spent his entire career-ish with Drew Lockhopper, and he didn't do anything. He's a bum.
That's true.
Oh damn!
It is true. The reason Drew Lock failed.
He's like, God damn it, I can't argue with him about it. 'Cause he's right.
The reason Drew Lock failed. Nah,
Thanks, Judy.
There's a role for Jeudy, and I don't know if it's in.
He's a 3, I think. I think if you trade for him, you're you're praying that he's a 3
if
wherever
Denver
he goes.
keeps him, can he be the new slant boy?
No, because he hasn't been good ever. He
needs to
has
go somewhere else.
randomly productive games, gets hurt, or just falls off because he's not very. He just didn't translate to the high end when he entered the NFL.
He's probably
That's fine. Like
he's a nice piece to
3.
have around on your bench as a 3 or a 4, but that's about it.
Like,
So are you saying sell low?
he just doesn't have options.
Make it somebody
I'm
else's
saying-
problem, especially if he goes
Yeah.
somewhere else.
I'm trying to avoid him because I don't care.
All right. Someone I do care about that I think flies a bit under the radar. I didn't like the pick when it happened, and then he got overshadowed by a little bit overshadowed by Debo, but he's honestly
Ayuk.
been the more consistent receiver, and it's Brandon Ayuk.
Bye.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is an absolute buy. He had 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns this year.
Bye.
140,
Yep.
100
Bye,
plus
bye,
targets. It's 100% a buy. Buy. And I don't know if Dynasty people probably know, but, Brandon Ayuk is underappreciated, in my opinion.
Underappreciated, undervalued.
I agree.
And he'll get re-signed.
He will.
He'll have his contract, and I think Debo is probably the odd man out.
The dude hasn't missed a game in 3 years, and everybody's like Debo, but Ayuk's the consistent presence.
That's why I had a lot of Ayuk last year.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I like Debo, but nope.
Ayuk's the way to go.
Ayuk's the one that gets it done consistently. So, all right, cool. Glad we could agree on that. Chris Godwin.
I kind of want I kind of still want him.
I do
Like,
too.
I love him as a player. Like,
27.
like he's not a wide receiver 1. Like, he's not in that range anymore. He's probably barely a 2, but
Yeah, I'd say he's more of a
But
back end
he's-
2 at best.
he's
Yeah.
more consistent.
He-
Low 2, high 3.
You know what's funny?
He's better than Judy.
The difference in
Oh.
yardage. He had a 1 yard difference in yardage between this year and last. Of course, he played
Tom
in
Brady
2 fewer games.
if Baker equals Tom Brady at 40 years old, confirmed, or 43, 44 years old, confirmed.
I mean, there's a 2-game difference there too. He probably would have
I
been in the
know.
1,100 yard range. He still was over 1,000-yard receiver. He just didn't catch a touchdown.
Yeah, I still like him.
It's a buy.
Yeah, he's a buy. Yeah, it's a buy for me too.
It's a buy. Especially, what's his
He's gonna be
contract
cheap.
situation? Is he a free agent? Let me go look.
Let us look.
Either you
Look.
know.
Look, I'm looking right now. Pulling him up.
I think he is. Yeah, like he's got void years. No, this is his last
No.
year. He's got 1 more year in Tampa, with Baker probably, and that's fine. I still think this is a buy because Mike Evans is a free agent, and if Mike Evans walks, then here we are. So I still think Godwin's a buy. T. Higgins.
So
I think the hype's
I'm stalling.
too high in free agency for.
I think he goes back to Cincy.
I don't think he goes back. I think he goes somewhere else, and a lot of people are going to fall in love with it.
That's where
I think he's got this wide receiver like one value. So I think I'm gonna sell based on the high point value.
I'll buy him if he lands in a spot that people don't like. I like T. Higgins. I'll buy him if he goes back to Cincy.
I think what Ryan's saying is it's going to go the other way.
Well, no, I know.
He's going to land somewhere and people are going to lose their goddamn mind and push the value all the way through the roof. You can buy now before he lands, sure. But I think a lot of people expect T to get out of Cincinnati and go be a one somewhere, like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think he'll stay.
Or even Carolina.
Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. I think, they've talked about, they've mentioned there's, when there's been conversation about how they want to, deal with Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, those are the three guys they want to build the offense around. I don't think they let Higgins walk. And if anything, they can franchise tag him, and it can be next year's problem, which could be an easy outcome when they have to then, figure out what they want to do with Chase. So I think Higgins is a definite stay in Cincy, and I will buy. People are upset because I believe that he can be a one if he leaves.
All right.
I'm not gonna say I'm upset, Dan. I'm just gonna say I'm disappointed.
That's fair. I hear that a lot.
Michael Pittman.
CT Higgins.
I'm a hard sell.
Except he is a one already.
I'm a hard sell on Pittman.
Are you?
Yeah.
Pittman,
I feel like he's at peak value also.
Yeah, Pittman's a guy that
is
he had 1,100 yards, 109 receptions. So, I mean,
I want all the Pittman.
I
think he's underappreciated too.
Do you?
Yeah, and he was productive with. He was so productive with Richardson.
You're more C Brandon Ayuk here on Pittman.
Sure, I would rather have Ayuk, better offense, more explosiveness, the offense that could be there. But Pittman was a target hog with Richardson there.
Pittman's a free agent.
Is he?
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, he would be.
Yeah,
he'll resign. I think they want him. And again, if he doesn't, I think he gets franchise tagged because who else is worthy there?
Or he goes to be a one somewhere, or he goes to somewhere like Jacksonville.
He had a very similar. I think he had a pretty similar year to last year in terms of his metrics too. Like he's still an under-ish appreciated guy.
Nah,
he
was very clearly better this year than last year,
which is good because he was good 2 years ago. He just wasn't. He wasn't as appreciated. So I think
he's got
2 straight years. 2 straight good years in a row on a team that's ascending. I can't predict he's going to resign there, but I think Pittman's good, and I think I want to have good players on my team. So I'm going to buy Pittman.
I think he's good as a 2. I think that he's going to be like T. Higgins with less hype, and I think that gives you a value. I think I can agree with you there. And the production profile is very similar. I think T. Higgins is going to get all the love, and there you go.
See, possibly, he probably will because he'll be leaving or he'll be staying in Cincy, which is a more profiled team to the masses. But I think people would be higher on Pittman because he is the one. It's very obvious that Higgins is at best a 1B to Chase. More likely to.
I mean, yes.
I want both players.
It's the profile of the offense, and people remember that T. Higgins was good before Chase got there, and Chase is all world, and Pittman being an Indy, you just don't get being an Indy who's not making playoffs, not making deep playoff runs, not getting the attention and the hype behind him, right?
I mean, they were almost a playoff team this year.
What's that?
With a backup with their backup quarterback. I think
they were.
I still believe in Richardson.
Are you going to argue with me that Indy gets more media attention and push than Cincy does?
Oh no, sorry, no.
Yeah, because that's the point I was making.
Okay, my bad.
And that's going to drive Higgins' value up over someone like Pittman because there's so much focus on Cincy's skill players. Indy, you don't really have that. Nobody's got star power in Indy. It was Jonathan Taylor.
So then you still want to sell Pittman? Then is what you're saying?
No,
So,
I changed my mind. I looked at the stat line and decided to agree with you. I think I like him as a buy even more than Higgins because I think the value is going to be better.
that I agree. That yes.
Yeah.
I want both because I think they'll be close in value.
I
love
Pittman's value
Pittman.
better.
I love Pittman, like, and especially after all the question marks that came into what he could be with a new quarterback, rookie quarterback that really didn't have a whole lot of known arm talent. I mean, he was athletic, but who knows? And he's shown it. I want Pittman.
All right, Deontay Johnson. Sorry, Hollywood Brown.
Thank God he's leaving Arizona. I don't even know if I should say thank God, but
Hopefully he's leaving Arizona because I mean,
go to the Chiefs. Be their new deep threat. Be their new deep threat. But he's probably still distant avoid because
he can't stay healthy.
yeah, ish. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what you're gonna get for him.
He does wherever he tends to go. Like he's kind of like a boot. Like he's a discount Brandon Cooks because he's a known deep threat speed guy. But yeah,
but Brandon Cooks actually was more of a performer.
What the fuck is
that's what I'm saying?
ESPN
Light
doing?
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Light is because Brown he's still commanded targets wherever he's gone. What's that up? What's ESPN doing?
I'm pissed, right? Well, so the article came out on ESPN, which we'll get to with the NFL Honors segment for Hall of Fame announcements, right?
Yeah.
Little spoiler. They put Mongo McMichael in a Packers uniform.
Oh.
He played for the Packers for one fucking season, and in the article, they put Mongo McMichael in a Packers uniform.
Was it his final team?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
That's why.
He played for the Packers in '94. He played for the Patriots in '80. He played for the Bears for everything in between.
Yeah. I'm saying it's probably because
it
was his last team.
They didn't put Devin Hester in a Falcons uniform.
Well, they don't want to give all the love to Chicago. Like, that's who had 2 Pro Bowl or 2 Hall of Famers.
3. Count Peppers.
3. Yeah.
I'm going as a Panther, but still.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Hollywood Brown. Thankfully, I agree. Thankfully, he's getting out of Arizona, but here's the but. You got injury problems. You've had repeated foot injuries his entire career. You've got 1,000-yard season out of him. Can't be relied on. To me, I'm getting out if I can.
Just avoid.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he gets to a new team, trade him. I still like the fact that the both teams he's been on, he's commanded targets when he's healthy. So
you can't rely on him, though, to be healthy.
I'm sure, but I'm like, all right, fine. Like if I could trade a 3rd round pick for him, I think I'm okay taking that risk.
No, I'm okay taking that risk for a 3rd round pick too. But if it's anything remotely high, you know me though. I don't like players that you can't depend on to be healthy. That's been consistent for 6 years, right? 7 years, however long we've known each other. Always been my thing.
Our whole lives, it feels like, buddy.
It does. Yes, it does.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Deontay Johnson.
Don't care.
Never been a fan.
I'm selling.
You don't like Marquise Brown, then you probably won't like Deontay Johnson.
No, I don't like Deontay Johnson because
Johnson's a worse Marquise Brown. He's a possession receiver.
No explosiveness.
Doesn't fucking do anything.
He's a possession receiver that doesn't have hands.
And why would I want to have a receiver
with no hands?
Number 2 receiver with no hands in Pittsburgh with the run first, probably play caller. Yeah, right. No, I'm good. Bye.
Calvin Ridley.
He's so frustrating. Yeah. Like the problem is again, it's like, well, what are you really going to get him for? I think people are soured on.
Well, give me a 2nd round pick. He's yours.
I don't think you can get a 2nd round for him, honestly.
But I'll argue with this just a little bit, right?
Yeah. No, that's good.
His final stat line was over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, which is a better stat line than T. Higgins and Michael Pittman put together. Right? So
I mean, yeah.
If some corners of the world are arguing for the Pittmans and T. Higgins and Chris Godwins of the world, right? Then you're down on Ridley because you got a 1,300-yard season and a 1,000-yard season, which is obviously sandwiched by the suspension year and the mental health year in Atlanta. But the last 2 seasons he's played a full season. He's over 1,000 yards. He's been 130 plus targets, 8 and 9 touchdowns. He's always been a red zone threat.
I think it's more so
Catch rate's
the
down, but-
the massive swings. Ridley had the wide receiver in 1 week. He's been in top 10 4 times last year, 5 times if you count the playoffs.
So Hollywood
Or
Brown,
not playoffs. No, because I mean, I don't think Brown was this much of a
Brown was
widespread.
he was very.
He's
volatile.
Gabe Davis, buddy. He's Gabe Davis.
He was very.
That-
Brown was very volatile when he was on the field. You got. I'm gonna go. Here's your yardage
Was he?
totals for the games that Brown played. 28, 54 on a tutty, 61 on a tutty, 96, 61, 34, 49, 33, 24, 28, 18,
And then he got hurt. Or then he was
88,
hurt.
and then he got hurt.
So you had Dobbs and whoever the fuck his rookie quarterback was throwing
so
him
you
the
got
ball.
as many weeks. You got more weeks under 50 yards than you have over, and the only reason that you were happy with them this past year, no 100-yard games this past year. The only reason you're happy with him in any week is because he put up a touchdown. Other than maybe against San Francisco where he had 16 PPR points because of 7 receptions for 6. But I mean
really had 9 games under 50 too.
he did.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where is 1,000 yards
What it used to be.
as
no.
impressive what it used to be with an extra
No,
game
you're,
and a more
you're more
passing
so
friendly.
looking for 1,100, 1,200 yards, not 1,000 yards in a more passing friendly league. You're looking at touchdowns. But what I'm saying is if you're in on Hollywood and you're in on T and you're in on Pittman and you're applying everything consistently, how can you be out on Ridley?
I guess if I go back and look at game logs to see how wildly inconsistent people were, really is going to cost you more. It's going to probably cost you more than Brown. Yeah, still be a discount compared to Higgins and Pittman.
He's also older.
I
I will say that too.
He's what?
He's going to
he's
play
older,
next year
yeah.
at 30. So
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
also older. I can
I
also
still think
see
he's
him
worth the
being
second round
replaced.
pick.
But boy, you're talking about like he's Gabe Davis too.
he
At
gets more
best.
targets than Gabe Davis.
Yeah, and he's
By a
just and he
lot.
has wild swings of bad performances like Gabe Davis. I like looking at his game log, which again, not the best way to scout a player by any means. I'm not saying
No,
this,
not. But
but Jesus Christ, it's just jaunting looking at how many points he scored and just seeing like he's got upside because he's on Jacksonville. We know Jacksonville when they're hitting and everything's working for them, they're a good offense. That's why you want to buy really. That's a good way to start.
well, and that's the other piece, right? His better
And-
performances were kind of towards the back. He had some duds in the back half of the year when we know Lawrence was hurt. Like, I remember Lawrence came back from a high ankle sprain off of.
I mean, he had
1 week.
He had a dud in week 2, week 3, 6, week 7 in 1 catch.
I'm not saying those were his
he-
only duds. I'm saying that
Yeah. I
it's
just
part of the story, right?
I'm just not. I'm
Yeah.
just not.
He had weeks where he had 12 and 13 and 10 targets that Lawrence was not playing healthy. So,
He had a 13 target game on 4. God, Jesus Christ, 13 targets, 4 catches, 12 targets, 5 catches.
yeah.
He had games of over 10 targets and less, and 5 or less
That's
catches.
when Lawrence was playing with the high ankle sprain and was wildly
Yeah.
off on everything. And that's when,
Yeah,
like, we both watched Jaguars games in that stretch and said, holy shit, he does not look right. That's not on Ridley, I don't.
I don't know, but you also look at sure, but if everyone's healthy with Kurt and Ingram, I mean, you see his games, especially early to mid part of his season, 8 targets, 8 targets. He had the 4 target game and 10 targets in weeks 5 through 8, and he had 1 good game in there. I'm not look. It's I don't have to spend a lot of time on really even way too much time already, but
we already did.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
I
We surpassed it a while ago.
Ryan, what are your
Sure.
thoughts?
If you want to buy him, buy him. That's fine. Ryan, your thoughts.
Oh, really?
I'll shut
I'm
up.
selling him. Just based on age, based on name. I mean, if people want to buy him based on the targets, that's all I'm for. Go ahead. He's yours. Give me a second round pick. I'll take it.
All right. Last few, moving quick. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Done.
Yeah,
Those.
he's at the curb already.
He's had too many bad seasons in a row. Cooper Kupp.
I think the end might be near. I think
Yeah,
we're
also
seeing the
so.
change of guard.
I think that you should, I mean, there was a lot of shit being given for selling of Cup the last couple seasons, but I think that
Yeah.
the people that sold Cup the last couple seasons got fair return, got it right, because you sold
definitely
them like
did,
right
yes.
before you started to hit the downside of the bell curve.
Now, we're getting wide receiver 2 Cooper Kupp, hopefully healthy for a full off season. And
Cup is not going to be unproductive. The value isn't
Maybe
just
there-
disappearing.
maybe there's an Adam Thielen there year.
Dan, we've said this since 2017. Cooper Kupp is not the type of receiver that the bottom's just going to fall out of in his 30s, but I don't think you're going to get the same insane upside. That
It's honest the Rams offense. It's honest the Rams offense don't bottom out. I think we're going to be.
You're going to get
I
wide
think Kupp.
receiver too.
I think Kupp's to me a guy that we're talking about, not us, because we won't be recording anymore. In
Yes.
season where you can probably get him for cheap because he's going to be productive with Puka getting all the attention.
Fair enough, and I agree. Noah Brown.
Unfortunately, sell
I think it's a
Yeah,
you
whatever.
You
Yeah,
saw on the hype. He's going to be. I mean, when everyone was healthy, it was Nico Collins, not him. He had some great games. He was a very useful player, and it's going to be interesting to see where he lands. But at the same time, you're talking a matter of a couple games. The guy that's going to get a lot of hype because of the back of the season performances, a couple big weeks. We've seen this before. It's a sell.
Yeah, his back season performance was basically his whole career.
Yeah.
Equal to he didn't do anything until those last half of the back end.
he's like a personal child for Hopper and I, though. You know,
Yeah.
Because when he came out at 20,
the
we
first
were
year
like,
rookie class for us too. And
he's one of them that we looked at and like, this guy is talented, but what the hell are you doing coming out right now because you haven't even played in college hardly?
He's worth a lottery ticket, and when I say lottery ticket, that's like a late third round
Yeah.
at best.
And
he's
then-
worth a pickup when the team that has him drops him.
That's true.
Yes.
And he probably will find some valuable weeks next year. It's just not going to be consistent enough to where you want to go for a trade.
It's going to be due to injury. I think that's where it's valued.
All right, last one here is Mike Evans. Free
The
agent.
guy doesn't disappoint.
Free
He just
agent.
continues to produce.
He's continued to produce into age 30. 3 of the last 4 years, he's been double-digit touchdowns. He's never put up less than 1,000 yards in a season. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot else you can say. I think he stays in Tampa.
I think he finishes his career there, and we're going to
Yes.
have one more fun season, and then hopefully he retires.
So you're going to get a couple
I-
more years out of him. Big-bodied, athletic receivers. Just you got to be wary, right? You can
did
ride
not
this
age
until the
gracefully.
wheels fall off, but when the wheels fall off, they fall off hard. So
Buy if you're a contender, sell if you're not.
Yes.
That's the easiest way I'm gonna say it.
because you might have another 2 years of this.
Yep.
All right, tight ends really quick. Cole Kmet.
Sell.
I'm lukewarm.
Coming off
I
his,
think he's a fine flyer.
Actually, as a resident Bears fan, how do you really feel about this one, Hop?
so I feel like
Because you know the Bears more.
yeah. So I feel like tight end progression. He's been their most reliable receiving piece outside of DJ Moore, and tight end progression as a fourth-year tight end. He came in 90 targets, 700 plus yards, 6 touchdowns. Like, I really, really think that this is going to be a piece that you continue to see perform. I don't know that he ever gets to the elite tier level, but I think that second tier that you're going to get consistent performances from him in that regard, at least as of right now. Now, if you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. and then you continue to roll with Justin Fields, then that conversation is a little different. But as we sit right here today, that's our second best receiving option on that is very, very highly efficient, that is on the field almost always. So I think that you do have a middle of the road tight end one in Cole Kmet. I like Cole Kmet. I think he's consistent. I think he's a piece of the offense that they were missing, and I think he's developed nice.
I think he's a buy when he's
gotten better
cheap and a
every
sell
year.
when he's. I think he's a buy when he's cheap and a sell when he's overvalued, when he's highly
Yep.
valued.
Thanks, Dan.
I know that's that covers every broad spectrum. Like
Well, like right now, to me, he's a hold because I just don't know
I think
if I have him what to do with that team. Am I having Justin Fields there? Is it going to be Caleb Williams?
no,
How's this whole team going to look around it?
No, you're
That's a
100%
good
a
point.
hold right now because what happens, right? If the Bears have 2 first-round picks, people forget that. I like to remind them. And if they somehow do
2 top 10 picks.
yeah, so they got the area to do some things, and if they end up, I don't think it matters what quarterback. If they end up with MHJ, that's immediately going to ding Komet's value with 2 valuable receivers with DJ Moore plus, right? But if they don't go that route, if they do just bring in Caleb Williams, if they go away from Fields, then I think you're in buy territory because he's your second best receiving option, and you come out of the draft with him as your second best receiving option.
100%.
Yeah, I think a back and tight end one. I don't have any strong opinions in either direction. I don't think he's super special. I think he'll be vaulted by volume until better players come in.
All
as
you
both
need
kind of
for him
alluded to.
If you're not elite, that's what you
His
need.
dynasty stays healthy. So again, he is a buy when the value's low, and he's a sell when the value's very high.
That's
the
Evan,
kind of tight end he
hey,
is. That's literally who
volume
he
is Evan Ingram. You can make an argument that
Yeah.
volume is Mark Andrews, right? I mean, that's that's all you need. Is a tight end
Dynasty and
is
tight
volume.
ends are just it's like a revolving fucking door.
Yeah.
At this
Yeah, it's a
point,
bitch.
because we just
bitch.
haven't seen consistency through these players outside of Kelsey.
All right, so these next 5 are going to be either guys that were in that tier that have fallen off, and do you think they're going to bounce back, or guys that were highly touted just to kind of fill the tight end category?
Yep.
That you might be looking at, okay, can they pull an Evan Ingram if they move teams or fall into the right opportunity? Noah Fant.
I hope so.
It's hard. I don't know.
So
As right now, I mean, his value is so low.
I'll
I
pick
don't know
him
how
up
much
when
lower
he
it can go.
hits. I just
Yeah.
don't.
his
I don't
value
He's
really
gonna-
trust him. I don't really trust him.
extremely low. He's kind of been in the couple hundred yards. He had no touchdowns last season, which was
Yeah, he's basically worth nothing on keep trade cut. And I just use keep trade cut as a reference to kind of get an idea. I don't use this as like the Bible.
and
But they're saying like, basically he's worth a back end 3rd round pick right now.
26 years old and he's a free agent. So
Probably not a buy.
no, not a buy. Watch where he lands, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the one to basically put on your scouting and see where he goes.
All right, a guy that's never taken off, even though he had the chance in Cincinnati that was highly touted. This is just kind of a
Herb Smith.
damn sad. How'd you know?
Why would I be sad? Like, he's athletic. He didn't hit. Move on. We've seen these
Yeah.
tight ends come and go.
And we've seen him hit late too, so that's why
Maybe
we're talking.
maybe he'll have one magic. You always get a tight end that has that one magical season, and then he falls off the face of the earth.
Speaking of falling
I
I
off,
think it'd be way more of he'd be more of a waiver wire ad because I bet you a lot of people don't even have him
He's
on
not
their
a team.
roster anymore.
no,
No.
he's not.
No.
Speaking of falling off the face of the earth, and part of what I think was wrong down the stretch with the Philadelphia offense compared to years past, Dallas Goedert.
I wonder how healthy he actually was.
I don't.
He came on at the end of the
hurt-
season.
Hurt like early season. Obviously, he missed some games due to it. The whole Philly offense was completely dog shit towards the end of the stretch.
Well, I think part of it was that they were missing. I just said earlier when we talked Hurts that they were missing that intermediate game, and missing Goddard
Yeah.
directly correlates to missing that intermediate game because with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, he is your intermediate.
He's in the Cole Kmet tier. He's probably a little overvalued entering last year. We got to see
Probably a little
the Eagles
undervalued.
offense, but he's a little
He's overvalued
now.
just on
It's
name
Levi.
base.
Yeah.
He's probably
Overvalued on name.
I think
That-
he's
that-
undervalued now, and you probably buy him now. But I think we've seen his ceiling. Like
Yes.
he's not
on
going
the
to be.
downward.
Yeah, he's not a guy that you're going to expect to ever see in the top 3 to 5, and he's a streamer tight end.
Mike Gesicki.
Don't care. Dead, not dead, but he's toast.
Yeah.
Toast because of him,
He
or
was-
toast because he was in New England?
Toast because he's done literally nothing everywhere he's been.
Yep,
He
athletic.
did good in New England beginning of the
Athletic
season.
tight end that didn't hit. Maybe he'll come along on his 3rd team or 4th team, whatever he's on now. Kind of liked him too. He was,
Jonnu Smith.
is he still backing up Kyle Pitts?
He was.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts.
What do you
kryptonite.
mean? You mean Kyle Pitts backing up Jonnu Smith?
Yeah.
'Cause that's what
After
it was.
Smith, it's gone. The backup tight ends ain't getting any love there.
Did he? He had a better season
Oh.
than Pitts, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
I do hope he
Just
gets a
based on
chance on
touchdowns.
his own. Like there's, in
Uh,
any smart coach should use Pitts over Jonnu, but I like Jonnu. Super athletic too. Maybe
and
get
he's a super athletic guy that's produced it at mid-tier levels at least a couple
Yeah.
times. And
I mean,
based
fuck,
on-
he was a top 5 tight end at one point in Tennessee.
right. So
Yeah.
People liked him. I liked him. I still like him. I want him to leave Atlanta and go to a new team that he can start on.
he's not a free agent, but they can. Yeah, where's it? They can cut him for almost nothing, but he's not a free agent. He's also older than I thought
He is. I think he was old when he came out.
he was.
20 in
6 years in the
17.
league, he's 20. Well, he would have been 22 when he came out. So
Okay, so
not really.
normal.
That's pretty standard.
No,
He was
that's normal.
He was just
Then
the first
he's fine.
draft class we did. We've been doing this for a little bit.
Got
Those guys are starting.
84 years, buddy.
Those guys are starting to approach 30. Dan.
Fuck. God damn it. 7 rookie seasons. Entering year 7.
All right, that's it for that NFL honors.
I think all but the MVPs.
all
been
but the
announced.
MVP has been announced. So I'll start with the Hall of Fame class and then we'll there and see if we get the MVP by the end of this. Hall of Fame class. One, this makes me feel old because I remember everyone in this class playing, other than the 2 senior inductees, and these are all guys that we thought would make it. I think Dwight Freeney from longtime Colt voted in Devin Hester on his 3rd attempt, which brings a tear to my eye, being a Bears fan. Returner getting into the Hall of Fame is not easy. So he was electric and one of the best to do it. A lot of good Devin Hester memories. Andre Johnson, one of the first just nasty, consistent grinder receivers I remember watching with regularity.
I'm a little surprised he got in as early as he did with how hard it's been for receivers to get in on their first couple of years.
I kind of am too when you looked at the body of work, because I think we did this exercise and it was a big maybe. But
And also, like, it shouldn't matter, but team success. Houston was never. I mean,
he's always
he
the
had
best player on a bad team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I'm glad he's there. Do not get me wrong. I'm glad. I love Andre Johnson. It's just I'm a little surprised that he got in so early. That's
Yeah.
good. Maybe they'll give wide receivers a little more love now.
Like Calvin Johnson.
Julius Peppers.
He's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep.
Goat.
Patrick Willis. Fantastic linebacker.
Same.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish he didn't retire, but kudos to him for protecting his health and mental health.
Randy Gradishar gets in on the senior ballot. He played in the 70s and 80s. And then Mongo McMichael. Obviously, long documented battle with ALS. I'm glad they gave this to him before he passed. So he can experience it and enjoy it. So he should have been probably a while ago. He revolutionized the defensive tackle position. But real happy that he gets in. He's alive to see himself get in for Mongo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Former WCW United States champion, too, Mongo McMichael.
Ooh, look at him
So,
go.
Really good class this year, though. 3 former Bears, by the way. But, which is kind of insane for a team that's sucked for 20
You got
plus
the MVP.
years.
we did get the MVP. It's been announced.
Sweet.
So we got everything.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. All right, starting from the bottom, the Deacon Jones Award, which I don't actually know what that is.
Sack leader.
All right. That's TJ Watt. Captain Morgan, NFL Fan of the Year, went to a Packers fan, which, okay. Black Football Player of the Year apparently wasn't announced yet or not recorded. The Jim Brown Award for Best Running Back, Christian McCaffrey. Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award goes to Bobby Wagner. Angry Run of the Year somehow went to Najee Harris. That
Awards. I feel like they just made up these awards.
They
this
did.
Year.
These are
So,
the,
okay.
These are the superlatives before we get to the big one.
Yeah. Okay.
Has Man of the Year been announced?
I have not seen it come through.
Okay.
It's not.
Nah.
I think that gets announced. I thought that gets announced at halftime at the Super Bowl. Not at halftime, but I thought it got announced
I thought
after
they got
all this.
introduced, but
Oh, maybe it was introduced. Maybe you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Bud Light Sully of the Year, Tommy DeVito.
It's okay. Yay, Tommy, you won an award.
You did
over
it.
there. You did it, bud.
FedEx Ground Player of the Year goes to Christian McCaffrey. Shocker, no.
Shock. Sure.
No.
FedEx Air Player of the Year goes to Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Salute to Service Award went to Joe Cardona, the long snapper for the Patriots.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to lawn snappers getting some love, baby.
Long snappers everywhere for the brand. NFL Moment of the Year, CeeDee Lamb's 91-yard touchdown reception. I don't remember that. All right. Good stuff. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson Jr. for the Texans. Deserved?
I wish it would. Yes, probably.
I also think it was deserved. Who were the finalists for that? Do you know?
I'm trying to see how that in the vote breakdown. I know it is both defensive backs. Why don't they have fucking?
I mean, it was a good trade up for the
it was
Houston Texans. If you look at it
Jalen
now.
Carter, Joey
Yeah.
Porter Jr., Kobe Turner, and Devin Witherspoon. So,
I wish they would have announced a breakdown of the voting.
yeah, I'll come out later, I guess.
I'm seeing them float around Twitter, so I'm just trying to catch them when I can see them.
Hard to argue with Will Anderson here, though. Defensive ends typically get an edge in most of these awards, sacks and everything like that. I think that Porter and Witherspoon in particular both also had fantastic rookie seasons, but Texans pay off for trading up. Offensive Rookie of the Year is C.J. Stroud.
He won significantly.
He-
48 first place votes to Puka's 2. I thought it should have been a little closer.
Quarterbacks are always going to get the edge, though, and
Stroud led his team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
Puka's special
Like,
in his
it's
own
his.
right, being a 5th-round pick and just having the season that he had. But C.J. Stroud is a quarterback coming into a bad team and doing what he did, and with it being just arguably such a difficult position.
if Justin Jefferson couldn't beat Justin Herbert in 2020, Puka was not beating Stroud.
Yeah,
That's just how it is.
No.
And Stroud had more deserving of it with his
I'm-
overall accolades, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco.
This is so fucking stupid, dude.
Beat out DeMar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matt Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa. This is stupid. It should have been Baker. And the reason
Yeah,
I say
it should
this
have
is
been Baker.
stupid is
It
because Baker did it for a whole fucking season.
Yeah. The voting breakdown, they're all relatively close. Flacco and DeMar were like 10 points separated. Baker was slightly behind in the high 90s. So very close in their voting.
This should have been.
I would have
Baker.
given it to Hamlin just because the guy died on the field, came back, played. I don't care. He played 5 snaps, but that's pretty fucking impressive. The fact that Brees Hall got no votes and he was very good down the stretch.
He wasn't he wasn't a
It should not have gone to
finalist.
fucking Flacco. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Flacco should not have been.
no.
He should have been number 3 at best.
At
in my
best.
opinion.
I agree. So here's my argument. not taking anything away from DeMar Hamlin, I do think on-field performance should have something to do with this. I don't think it should just be like
I get it.
you
True.
came back. I
You're
think
right. You're
that
right.
acknowledging DeMar Hamlin is good, but I don't think comeback player of the year should just be based on how bad the situation was. I think it should be based on field performance, and the fact that DeMar Hamlin is that he was inactive for a lot of the season.
He barely played.
He barely played.
You're right. He barely
And
played.
It's amazing that he came back, and it's a great story and a great, it's a great story of perseverance for him. But Baker came back from being written off by Cleveland, from bouncing
Written
around,
out by the Panthers.
written off by the Panthers,
Rams.
not written off by the Rams, but not
I
re-signed
know.
by the Rams because they had Stafford coming back, and then he lands in Tampa and leads them to the playoffs and does things all year and performs at a level of a top-tier quarterback from an NFL perspective. Like, to me, that's your comeback player of the year. Somebody that performed at a high level all year long after being written off. I mean, his situation's no different than Flacco, right? Flacco's not coming back from a significant injury or anything like that. He's coming back from being old and being on the Jets.
And shitty.
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
Fine.
Being a has-been.
Okay, great. You went to a better
Good
team.
for
You went
him.
a
Yeah.
better team with better infrastructure and threw a bunch of picks and
Stupid.
had
Fuck
a good
Cleveland.
back a year stretch. But to me, if you're going to give it to Flacco, Baker and Flacco are super comparable, and Baker did it all year for a handful of games, choked in the playoffs.
In a worse team.
Yeah.
It should have been, if it's not going to Hamlin, it 100% should have went to Baker.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, there's no argument to see. Like, I don't know how voters saw Flacco and didn't be like, oh yeah, we should just give it to Baker instead. Makes sports sense.
Yeah, I don't
Ugh,
I don't either.
Fucking dumb.
I don't either.
Whatever.
Because if it
Cleveland.
wasn't going to be Hamlin and you were going to give it to Flacco, Baker's got the edge on Flacco.
Yeah.
Hamlin's a very unique case. Assistant coach of the year, Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator for the Browns. Hard to argue they were historic.
Yes.
Spags should have gotten some run here, I think. He wasn't in the finals. It was Bobby Slowick from Houston, who great in his own right. Ben Johnson,
Yes.
Mike McDonald, Todd Monk. So Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, Bobby Slowick were the finalists there. Ben Johnson, very, very good. Also has been part of this rebuild for several years in the upward trend. Mike McDonald, you could have, Todd Monken, okay, sure, whatever.
I think McDonald had deserved it just as much
I
as
think McDonald and Slowick and Schwartz would have been where I'm at here. The job Slowick did with that Houston offense was amazing. With a rookie quarterback and getting him to perform how he did and everything.
All three were definitely deserving. Yes, absolutely right. Absolutely. All three deserve it.
There's no one there that really does
Historic.
But yeah, it's Schwartz had a historic defense. It's fine. He's a former head coach. That's what he's supposed to do. Coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski.
Oh man.
All right. Same amount of votes. Same amount of votes as D'Amico Ryans, who's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Stefanski won it because he had one more first place vote.
Yeah.
Should have been Ryans. Sorry, should have been Ryans.
It should have been Ryans too. Again, anything involved with
Right.
Houston this year, with the draft, the on-field performance, and everything, that should have done it. Dan Campbell deserves his flowers too.
He was significant. He was number 3, significantly behind. So both Stefanski and Ryans were at 120 total points. Campbell was at 33.
Ryan, do you feel like the Lions get burned a little bit because of the slow build and the actual progressive rebuild instead of the instant turnarounds?
Yeah, in a way I do. But then again, you look at what Dan Campbell did. He made a lot of stupid calls that could have changed the record overall. Like most recent, everyone knows like what he did against San Francisco. He could have went for a field goal and then decided to go for forward on 4th down, or going the 2-point conversion against Dallas and then not getting it because not checking in, and then keep doing it again. So it's like there's a point where it's just like, all right, enough's enough, and like you just kind of move on from it and just say like just take the points this way, take the points that way. So in a way, Campbell kind of screwed himself overall just based on what the record could have been compared to where the Lions actually finished.
Yeah.
Then I think expectations too. Obviously, it's the Fancy's case. You can make an argument that should have went against them too.
I agree.
Ryan, in Houston's case and in Ryan's case, especially D'Amico,
I think
it should have been him. But
Stefanski gets a lot of credit for working through the injuries and stuff that he had, though, too. I mean, you lost your starting quarterback. You had to cycle through backups to pull somebody off his couch. You lost Nick Chubb, who was supposed to be a significant part of the offense. Like, I know we hate on Cleveland a lot because really of Deshaun, but he did a good job with that roster and that team.
He did. He got the most out of it. He did. He being able to survive the Nick Chubb injury, hitting on Flacco towards the end of the year to get into the playoffs in a very difficult division still, even with Burrow hurt. I get it. I still think it should have been Houston, or it should have been Ryan with Houston, and Campbell probably should have got a little more love. Yeah. I think he got a lot of love last year. He didn't win it last year, but he got a lot of love last year. So maybe little, voter burnout in terms of expectations from him and the Lions.
Yep.
If they're going to the Super Bowl right now, he probably had a better chance.
He would have had more votes.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have won it, but he definitely had more votes.
Yep. No, I agree with that 100%.
All right. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett.
X is up in arms. Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Pittsburgh's wanted Watt and didn't get it.
I need to go look at the stats on this.
Watt's got him statistically, I think, in most categories.
Yeah, then it should have been Watt.
Yeah.
I think Garrett is probably getting a lot of credit because of how good overall Cleveland's defense was, but if Watt had him in most statistical categories, then it should have been TJ Watt.
Makes too much sense.
Yeah.
You think it would.
Yeah.
But
this is really
Joe Flacco won't come back Player of the Year, so that makes sense.
Yeah. This is really a 2-horse race, too. I don't, Crosby is a good player. I don't know how standout his year was. Parsons, again, really good player. Deron Bland, I know, was kind of like the Trayvon Diggs of this year, right? So
he was on fire with his interceptions.
Well,
through the midpoint of the season,
it's Diggs, right? On fire with interceptions, giving up a ton of yardage. On the other side of things, I think that's just defense as the corners play aggressive and get your picks, and you're going to give up yardage, but. Yeah, TJ Watt had a phenomenal year.
There we go. Yeah, Watt got him in tackles, sacks, pressures, QB hits, tackles for losses, tight end forced fumbles, recoveries, pass deflections.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Now, there's no percentages here. There's no percentages here, which is a lot of people like to lean on in terms of pressure rate and shit like that. But
pick yards, 5 more sacks.
I didn't see the
breakdown.
I'm looking for the breakdown.
3 more fumble recoveries.
Yeah.
1 more pick. Played in 1 more game. It should have been Watt. I don't really see.
Should have been Co. I don't know. Just make it Co.
Yeah. Well, no, there was no reason to. Watt had him so bodied and everything that I don't know how it's not.
Well, you don't know how Baker didn't beat.
You end up with, dude had played 1 more game, 5 more sacks, 15 more tackles. Let's see. 11 more assisted tackles. So you pull that together, you've got 26 more combined, 2 more tackles for loss, 6 more quarterback hits, 1 pick to none, 5 more passes defended, 3 more fumble recoveries. 1 more fumble return touchdown. There's nothing here that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that Myles Garrett beat TJ Watt at.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I agree. I was hoping someone would have posted the
The
voting
votes.
breakdown to see how close the votes were.
Offensive player of the year goes to Christian McCaffrey.
Here it is. Found it.
Oh, did you? Go ahead.
Garrett 165, Watt 140. 4 more first place votes.
Fuck that.
I maybe team defense for whatever, like maybe because he was the conductor of one of the best defenses.
That's the only thing I can think of is that it's team defense.
That's might be it, and
But you're
maybe
not-
face more double teams and shit like. I don't know.
You're not awarding teams though. You're awarding players. This offensive player of
agree.
the year, Christian McCaffrey. That one's always hard to argue with.
I don't think anyone.
No.
Maybe Tariq Hill. That'd be the only one that would probably be close.
And MVP Lamar Jackson wins his second. This is going to be a 2-horse race between him and Purdy. How close is this one?
Jackson had 49 out of 50 first place votes, and 1 first place vote went to Josh Allen. This was a runaway. Dak finished second in total.
Really?
Overall, yes. This was all Jackson's, and there's a lot of argument to here of why it was, because of his stats weren't impressive. Again, this is probably being awarded more so because of team base.
Well, because without Jackson, that team doesn't go.
We've seen how bad that team can be without Jackson.
That's player value, right? Right there.
But it's the same thing with Josh Allen and Dak. The voting was close. The voting being that spread was insane.
Well, I think it's good that they didn't just go with statistics, because if you just went with box scores, it's Purdy. The knock on him was his team was so good. So,
well, that and Baltimore and Jackson fucking bodied rocking the Niners like 3 weeks left of the season. I think that also maybe contributed to the
Purdy's
that voting
late season meltdown of a game definitely did.
Yeah, it's I'm not saying Jackson's not deserving. This is, if there's ever a year to not give it to a quarterback, you can make better argument. You can make equal arguments, I think, for McCaffrey and for Tariq Hill with these respective seasons. Just given that we didn't get an ultra dominant QB performance, but the fact that he was super close to unanimous MVP is pretty nuts to me. Like, this is one vote off from a unanimous MVP.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with Lamar because his value is so hard to quantify statistically.
And Baltimore was so dominant down the stretch with them, blowouts to San Fran, blowouts to Miami.
A lot of that was
big factors in both.
Yeah, and a lot of that was defense too, though. But
true, but the offense did score a shit ton of points with it, so it's not like it was, just a defense. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with, and I think we've debated this a lot on the show. It's hard to quantify too.
Yeah.
All right, and they did announce the man of the year. It is Cameron Hayward, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So congratulations
Shout out to
him.
Hayward.
I know this one means a lot to the players, so we can't really commentate on it because we don't know all of
They're
the
all
things
good.
that
They
go on
all
in the
fucking
community,
deserve
and it's
their
all
flowers.
deserving for every nominee. But it's Hayward getting that is good for him.
Yep.
All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back with a little bit of fun next week. Till then, cheers.
Cheers.
See ya.